Good feeling for everybody all round.
Okay, so here we go, a touch of gloves between the two. 8 two-minute rounds this scheduled for. These two have got immense respect for one another, and there's no history or baggage between these two, so there's no thoughts of revenge or anything like that, and that's absolutely key here. That's why they are the right pair for the job. Why Barrera is the right man for Hatton here. We haven't got to...
As a fighter.
Barrera just looking to pop that jab. Hits Hatton, looking to try and get onto the front foot there. Those trademark shorts, the design of which hasn't changed all that much down the years.
It also takes a little longer to get your timing off, to get the measure of the man in front of you. You can see Ricky's shots are falling short. Michael's exactly the same as he was before. Sits there, tries to counter off the shot. That's what he does.
Good jab there from Barrera. Just let the nice loose 1-2 go before that. And as Matt was saying at the start there, and Anthony too, you just never can be absolutely sure, because these are thoroughly competitive animals we've got in there, and if one of them does something which the other one looks at and thinks, hang on a second, this isn't what we talked about.
It's one switch, it's just one switch. Remember, it's 2-minute rounds, they're only doing 8. These guys are older, so you know what? First 2 rounds are all fresh. 3-4 rounds, you think I can build.
Basically, to lose that weight, to get that focus, that drive, that determination, that bit of self-esteem and confidence back, something that plenty of people struggle with throughout the course of their lives. Something that we all struggle with, probably, if we're honest, at some point. And a good chopping right hand there from Hatton, and he's doing this for other people as much as he's done it for himself, just to show people that if you set yourself that challenge, stiff though it may be, you can do it a day at a time. Just give yourself that goal, a step at a time, a sit-up at a time. If it's physical, you can get there.
Mickey Van, the referee, had to remind Ricky to pull the shots, not fire him off too hard. It's an exhibition, 16-ounce gloves. He's still got that little skip back in his beat. Ricky has. Barrera waiting patiently just to try and time that left hook. I've seen that so many times, even in his heyday. That's his shot.
Nice right hand there from Barrera. Just set his feet a little bit there and pop that one off. And this is what's interesting about this, is that just tiny fraction by tiny fraction, if one of them just raises it a little bit, the other one will have to do the same thing and match it. And as you say, that's where the referee does just have a little role to play here, and just remind them maybe every now and again.
It's so easy to forget. Ricky's got a slight bruising on the right-hand side of his face, which shows anything can happen, anything can change the tide of this fight.
Good work there from Hatton, just blocking, parrying. Nice head movement too there. Barrera looking to lead off with that left uppercut, bit of a signature Mexican move that, owned mostly by his compatriot Juan Manuel Marquez. Used to see him do that a lot.
All the way through, it's in the blood.
You okay, Marco? Focus on first.
So into the third, it's scheduled for 8 2-minute rounds here, remember. 16-ounce gloves. There will be no winner declared. There are no judges at ringside. This is an exhibition. Hatton just looking for that little left hand to the body.
Let him go!
I suppose it's going to be very hard for people to understand how can 2 guys that are friends want to hit each other, spar with each other. That's how it is. You can have the best of friends. But when the bell goes, that's it. Buster Keaton in the gym was my good friend, but he tried to slaughter me every time we sparred, and I had to remind him, whoa, we're just sparring, but he just forget things.
Barrera's turned southpaw. Most remembered, you would say, for that trilogy against Eric Morales. UK fans, of course, will remember very much that fight against Prince Nassim Hamed. It was such a long and storied career. The thing that always really interested me about Barrera was that he was one of these fighters, a bit like Campbell Hatton, if you like, or Conor Benn, or fighters from a more affluent background who didn't need to box.
Very unassuming, very matter of fact. You could sit and talk to him, you wouldn't think he was a fighter. He walks in, looks like a librarian, but when the bell goes, he wants to break your ribs.
Keep your head down.
30 seconds remaining in round 3.
Push him up.
Barrera just trying to shovel that little left hand in there underneath as Hatton came forward.
It must be so tempting just to pull it back. Think, shall I just sneak one in? I'm watching, thinking, well, just one little dig. It's just, you can't help it.
Let him go. Watch your head, Marco. Go down, fella.
So Mickey Van just having it.
Off we go.
So into the 4th. Hatton just letting that right hand go. There are so many things you remember about the career. What I remember most vividly myself, everybody will have different things, but it was just a build up to that Mayweather fight, the way that everybody just got so behind it 24/7. I was absolutely addicted to that. It was a build up like no other really, and then when you saw the scenes from Fight Week, it was absolutely extraordinary. Deep into the night, obviously, we had to stay up here in the UK to watch that. I don't think that we'll ever be another Ricky Hatton. They're singing now there's only one Ricky Hatton, but with the support that he attracted and the way that he did it, I just don't think a modern athlete, if you like, could really do it now, because part of his massive appeal was the fact that he blew up in weight in between fights. He wasn't really supposed to do that. People would always question it, but the fact that you would see him out in Manchester and he seemed like your mate and you could have a chat and you could buy him a pint, all right, it might have shortened that career, that enormously successful career, ever so slightly, but that was how he did it, and that was a massive part of it.
And he did it so wrong but got it so right, the results. And I suppose that would be frustrating for any trainer, because they'd not want their fighter to live that lifestyle. But what's making me smile around is Ricky's still got the same footwork. His time is not off in his feet. He's still got that skip to the side, skip back again, tries to duck him down.
There you go.
This man's in his 40s.
Step away. Well done.
Ow.
Well, these two just keeping each other on. Don't take liberties, but let your shots go. How does that work?
That's like trying to say, do but don't, do but don't.
So into the second half, round 5. I don't think I really need to say it, but Ricky Hatton in the light blue and white, and he did let his hands go there, just set his feet a bit, put some heat onto that right hand. Barrera turns into the southpaw, one up the centre.
Mickey Van keeping a close eye just in case this gets out of hand, but the shots are still there, the signature shots that both fighters threw in their day. He's still there. The power might not be, the speed might not be, but that shot, you remember these shots.
Hatton with that little step to the side, he was always so good at that. He was brilliant at finding angles, at chipping away at fighters. He was a pressure fighter. He could be relentless, of course, but he was amazing at finding little angles just to slide those gloves in. Little step up to the right-hand side, and you throw that left hand straight down the middle into the pit of the stomach. And Barrera certainly, I think, in this round has realised, I'm just going to have to give a bit more back here, because otherwise he's getting on top of me a bit and the referee's not really doing anything.
Get the head out.
Brown's just walking through this fight. He's not skipping, he's not running, he's walking through, trying to walk himself into position to block the shots, and that's it, head to body change, varying it up.
Nice right hand there from Barrera. As the band just picks up the pace again.
Barrera's thrown that looping left hook 2 or 3 times and actually caught Ricky with it. And I think it's just a natural shot he throws and a natural shot to catch him in there. Just shows the respect these fighters have for Ricky and Barrera.
Yeah, these are two supersonic performers. There's no other way to describe them. It's unfortunately the way of the modern world a little bit to try and be revisionist and look back on people's careers and pick holes. And people have tried to do that with Ricky Hatton at times and basically criticise him because he couldn't beat Mayweather or Pacquiao. I mean, if that's cause for criticism, then there's no hope for any of us. But it was an absolutely stellar career, there's no question about it. In beating Costas Yu, he established himself as being the #1 fighter in his weight division on the planet, and you can't really do any better than that. I've met a lot of people who claim to have been here that night. I believe that you were here, but I think there's at least 100,000 people who claim to have been at that fight.
And what a night it was, what a night it was. Very loud. There wasn't a seat, there was standing room only.
Let him go, Marco!
There's that left hand to the body, just busying up those hands on the inside. That looked very familiar. And then just stabbing that left hand in, looking for that floating rib.
Ricky's usual style, crowds them, hooks the heart, hooks the arms. Usually used to skip outside and then bigger body shot right down the middle.
Get off his head! Let him go!
Nice right hand there from Hatton. Just teed it up with the left. And then Barrera lets his hands go a little bit.
Tempo as well these last couple of rounds. Definitely in the last round. But remember, Ricky said he's not being quiet about it. The benefits he's got from it, not just getting his body in good shape again, but getting his mind, getting his focus, changing his lifestyle to think, I want a healthier lifestyle. What an advert.
Well, they're both looking to get to work a little bit more in this 7th round. He started nice and quick here, Hatton. The feet really on point, looking to try and get on top of Barrera. And as he's been saying during the week, he is happy to be an advocate for mental health, to speak up and do whatever it takes really to help other people out. It's a difficult place for any athlete when you retire, because a phrase you hear in boxing a lot is the brighter the lights, the darker the shadows, and he's been under the brightest of lights in Las Vegas, and then at times found himself living in some really dark shadows, and he's come out of those now, and tonight, as we said right at the start, it gives you the lights but without the shadows.
Let him go, Marco.
I actually like that saying. Well done, mate.
It's not mine, I can't claim it.
But for Ricky, I just, you're right, that is that. It's just that endorphin rush that you get from this. It's like, it's very hard to explain to somebody that's never boxed before how much of a lift it gives you. And when you've got something like Ricky Hatton telling you about his mental health, then any man, any person out there will think, well, Ricky Hatton, former champion, he's not afraid of talking about this. So encourage others to do that as well.
So closing stages of the 2nd and 7th. It's been a good lively round, this one, actually.
10 seconds.
These two have been plenty busy.
I bet Nicky has to tell him off this next round. I bet he has to tell him.
Great days that so many people remember with so much affection for so many, many reasons, and a lot of them will be here tonight. Thousands went, tens of thousands went to Las Vegas. They drank the MGM Grand dry. It's often told tale, but it's true, and if you speak to Americans, they still can't quite believe it. They still can't quite believe it.
I remember being in the studio getting calls from friends out there asking me if I could get them tickets, and they were out there and we were in London, and that's how popular it was, how they drank Vegas dry.
Nice right hand from Hatton there. That was a decent little shot. Barrera gives him a left on the inside himself.
arms out,
Hatton looking for a big ripping uppercut there.
Keep your head
Mickey
down.
Van, I think, will be quite relieved when this one finishes. He's just got a minute remaining here.
Step back, Ricky. Watch on.
You've got to commend them on the fitness they've got themselves to, because I know it's 8 2-minute rounds, but that ain't easy. That is not easy, especially at this stage in your life, especially when you've been out of it all that time. Good right hand there by Ricky. Mickey Van's keeping a close eye on him.
Let him go, Ricky.
Whispering in, tell him to pull the shot.
Don't lay on, Marco.
Well, he picked up on him a couple of rounds in when he got his rhythm. Those feet are just so recognisable. He's always had those really strong legs. Right hand there from Hatton. And the sweat just goes spraying up the head of Barrera, who has a look over the shoulder of Hatton, straight at Mickey Van, as if to say, are you just going to stand there?
Have a word, ref. Have a word.
So here we go, final few seconds. Little left on the inside there from Barrera, who looks for the body, goes up top, lets his hands go right at the end, but there goes the battle, an embrace between the two. And I tell you what, they got